Don't forget, guys. Benny loves you. And we ask ourselves the question, is it legal to smack my kid? What's up, nerds? This is Nerds vs. Evil, and we took on Benny Loves You. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm joined by my amazing panel of co-hosts, starting with my brother who has a wolf hanging around his neck right now.
It's choking me out.
The Halloween guy, founder, creator of the Higbee Horror Haunt, John.
How's it going, everyone?
Our dad, who's got 2 plushies over there. The man...
Morning, noon, and night.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
It is terrifying.
My lovely wife, Amber.
Hello.
The only man I know that has purchased a Benny plush, Chris Martin.
He's in the trash.
So, guys, really quick, Amber, if you could pick one word to describe this movie, what would it be?
I'm going to go with spaghetti, Jason.
Damn it, you took mine.
Nice. Bub.
Fluffy.
Dad.
Euro cops. Oh, that's two words.
2 words.
Constables.
The coppers. That's what they're called.
I'm going to go with...
Or the bobbies.
I'm going to go with... Special? Martin?
I'm going to go with love.
Yeah. Before we dive into Amber's facts on this movie, I just want to say I really liked this movie. This movie was what I wanted Banana Splits to be.
Same here. That's
Yeah, I
why
can see that.
That's why I'm pissed because I was torn between both of those, and I picked Banana Splits.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't blame you because I knew what you were thinking. You were thinking the exact same thing as me, and this is what we were thinking that Banana Splits was going to be.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Okay, Amber, let's hear some of those Amber facts.
Well, not anything too crazy this week, but this movie got a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 75% on Google. Sorry, my children are running amok. It had a budget of $10 million.
Wow.
$10 million budget, which is crazy. That's what IMDb said, but here's the kicker. This movie was directed, written, produced, edited. The cinematography and the musical score were all done by the director, Carl Holt. All of it.
Wow.
Yes, there was credits for a John Bowe who helped with the cinematography, but everything else was done completely by Carl Holt, and apparently it meant that the movie took a long time to come out.
So
let's see if we can get Carl Holt on this fucking podcast.
That'd be badass. Yeah.
Get on here.
Hell yeah.
This movie was nominated for several awards, but it's the winner of the Best Film First Blood at Fright Fest 2020, the winner of the Grand Jury Prize Best International Feature-Length Horror Film at Macabro International Horror Film Festival of Mexico City, and the winner of Audience Award Best Film at San Sebastian Horror and Fantasy Film Festival.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the only other random fact I had is that Benny is inspired by Elmo.
Yeah,
which
was
one of the,
you could totally tell.
Exactly. Literally, one of the first things I wrote was, this is literally the nightmares I had about Brianna's Tickle Me Elmo growing up.
Jesus.
I swear to God, I'd hear that thing vibrate in her toy chest, and it was.
Hey, I'll tell you what, that wasn't a tickle me Elmo.
Damn.
It was a tickle me somewhere.
It was a tickle me somewhere. I like it.
All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and dive on into it. When the movie starts, we are introduced to a young girl, Ashley, and we are seen right away. She is a very spoiled girl.
Princess.
Thank you. And her mother is already getting very frustrated with her because I don't know, was it her birthday or her mom just got her?
It was her birthday.
Her
the
birthday.
next
Okay,
day.
the next day.
Yeah.
And
Becomes a theme.
so
Yeah.
she demands to have her birthday present early and is throwing an immense fit. And finally, like, the mom gives in and gives her the Barbie doll that she wants. And in doing so, she throws out her teddy bear, Todd. So, and then when her mom is in the bedroom, she demands to get her other birthday gift, which she says to her mom, "I already saw you wrapping it." And the mom slams the door, and that's when the daughter hears her bear Todd from the toy chest say, "Special?" And we see the mom in her room Googling, "Is it legal to smack my kid?"
And the response is awesome. Yes, I belt them all the time.
I laughed so hard at that. So then the daughter hears that special, like, again. I think does he pop out of the chest?
Yeah, dude,
And
he's
that's
been,
when-
like, popping
Remember all the
out.
fog? Has the fog coming out of it and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
The top goes
And,
up.
and when she screams, that's when the mom comes back in and
Bitch slaps her.
yeah, slaps the hell out of her.
Slaps the fucking slobber out of him.
There's a huge handprint on her face.
Oh yeah.
And she says, "Shut it." And that's when she leaves. And then we see a little bit more of Todd being a little bit more into, like, trying to scare her, and you just hear "special," and it ends with.
Okay, he says you're special.
Does he say you're special? Because I thought
He
just
says you're special.
Oh, I had special on here.
Well, she watched it twice because she fell asleep. So
She did. I have it wrote down when she falls asleep. So, the mom gets pissed off and goes into the room to try and find her, and sees her in the toy box with her eyes gouged out, and she immediately starts screaming.
yeah,
This is where we are introduced to a robot that you like think, okay, this is going to be a cool robot, and then it starts disco dancing. And
Disco AIDS.
Disco AIDS. I laughed so damn hard at Disco AIDS. What was it supposed to be, though? I didn't write that down.
raids,
Raids.
Yeah,
Okay.
raids.
robots.
Oh,
Yeah, raids.
yeah. Okay, it was for an acronym. Yeah.
Robotic,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence,
Device.
Dancers.
yeah,
Disco. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
disco,
you're right.
yeah.
The D was for disco.
Yeah.
Disco,
And
yeah.
He is always for disco.
and yeah, this is where we find out
Well, it's funny because Richard.
Richard.
Like, let's give all of our
Well, Richard had the badass robot.
Yeah.
let's give all of our kids AIDS for Christmas.
Yeah.
Dude, it was I'm just
Freaking
gonna
A.
jump in right now. Watch this movie before you listen any further on this podcast. This one was good. It was funny.
This was the best one we've watched so far.
So then you find out Jack works at a company called the Toy Box, and that was him pitching his big toy was the disco AIDS. And then he has a flashback to this time he had a date at his house.
Oh my gosh. Babs.
And the girl comes in and sees all his toys in his room and is starting to like flip out.
Like it's a horror movie.
Yeah, like sees
Like,
all the
full
toys.
on.
It is so funny. And then she like starts to yell at him, and then you hear Jack's mom say, "Jackie, is everything okay?"
You live with your parents?
Yeah, and she goes, Who was that? Oh, that's my mom.
Parents.
Dude,
Yeah.
I could have sworn when we started this segment you were gonna be like, oh, and this is Chris Martin, the only guy I know who's had a girl over to go into his nerd room and freak out. Because it's happened.
Oh God.
That's
More
pretty
than
funny.
you can imagine.
And then so we find out Jack lives with his parents, and it's Jack's 35th birthday. And I wrote this line down because I thought it was so funny. He's sitting there eating breakfast, and his dad goes, "Why don't you help me put the shelf up?" And Jack's response is, "It's not your birthday."
That was hilarious. Because it's not your birthday.
So Jack is upstairs playing video games, and that's when his dad is hanging up the shelf. And I might be missing something. I know something. How does he fall?
So he hangs up the shelf,
Right.
and then that's all I remember.
That's all I remember too.
Yeah,
Somehow,
I just remember him down on the ground. I don't
Yeah.
know if he was down
It's like,
there.
like a freaking anvil on top of the shelf.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was something heavy that fell off of the shelf
Yeah,
that
but why
killed
was
yeah,
him.
why was he on
down,
the
I
ground
can't-
though? I can't
I
remember
can't
that.
remember why.
I think he bent down to pick something up.
And what, he
No, he
slipped
was
because
like-
it hits
he
him on
was
his
looking
The
face.
ladder hit the floor, and then the whole shelf came down, and then the big heavy thing hit him in the head.
Bro, I think he
But-
slipped and fell and hit the wall. And then,
Oh, and then
he
the
was-
thing
his
fell
face was
off
there?
the shelf.
and then it fell
Yeah.
straight down on his face.
And it lands on his face. It's this giant, like Dad said, it was like an anvil thing that like
It
lands
was
on
a
his
big
head.
heavy freaking thing.
Right
Hold
when
on
that
one moment. Hold on.
Right when that happens.
He slipped on a little toy car on the ground, and he
Oh,
fell on
that's
his
what it
back. I just...
Way to go, Jack, leaving your toys out.
So that means Jack killed both of his parents, in theory.
It's a
Yeah.
chain reaction.
So after that, the mom comes walking in with a tray of like pineapple skewers or
No, she
cheese.
has the
Cheese.
cake.
No, she's walking in with the cake.
No,
And
it's
there's-
cheese.
No,
It's
she's
cheese.
walking in with the cake.
But the
Trips.
table
I'm
has the stuff
watching
with
it right now.
with the toothpick
Oh,
sticking out. It's
yeah,
on the
that's right.
table already.
Yes, it's cheese on a platter that she falls onto.
It doesn't.
Game over.
We don't got to get into too much detail, guys. She falls onto the platter, and the things go into her face, and it kills her.
I don't need it.
Dubs is upset about this.
He's leaving toys around, and I told him, "You see what happens?"
Yeah.
Now we find
Bub just
out.
hung.
Fucked up, Bub.
Bub just hung shelves today too.
Busy hanging shelves all day.
You better watch out, dude.
So after this happens, Jack is meeting with his. I have the person's title down. I think it's his account manager. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
His account manager, who informs him that basically he can't afford to keep the house.
His name's David.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't even get his name. So,
Yeah, I had his name written down here somewhere.
Got him that sweet deal though, to where he would have to pay back 4 times as much.
Yeah.
3, 4.
But then Jack's line, after the parents are both gone, he goes, 35th birthday, finally got my own place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So there's a promotion that Jack's hoping to get at work because with the promotion means he might be able to keep the house. But I
Like
did not.
love object.
What?
Even down to the cops.
I didn't understand this. He's wanting to get the promotion, right? And Richard kind of comes over and is like, "Yeah, he's here to tell you about the promotion." And then he's like avoiding his boss. Did I miss something there?
Because
Yeah,
he
right.
knew
He
he
was
knew
gonna
that
get
he was
fired.
wanting to fire
He was
him.
gonna get fired.
Yeah.
So he wasn't
why
going to
he
get
was
the
avoiding
promotion.
him.
Did he
No.
told he told him that he was
Oh.
going to get fired?
Yeah, he was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay. All right.
That
I
was
didn't.
Richard.
Right.
Literally, my note is, why is he crawling around away from his boss?
Okay, yeah, no, I had that too because I didn't understand that. So,
It was like ditching lumber in office space.
yeah, well, anyways, his boss ends up finding him and takes him into his office, and his line is, "I can't send someone to New York wearing a Goonies shirt." It's, and he goes, "Oh, it's actually Gremlins." Good, because I hate the fucking Goonies. Like,
And he goes, "It doesn't matter, Goonies or Gremlins."
yeah. So he basically is about to fire him, and Jack begs for him not to do that, and he ends up demoting him for like a fraction of what he's getting paid right now.
Yeah, I think he said a quarter.
At this point, we start to see the origin story of Jack and Benny, because he's in his room looking at all his stuff, and he looks at Benny, and what ends up happening is he sees what it looks like a demon out in his hallway, and he screams. His mom comes running in.
Dude, that was some scary shit.
And
man.
good
I
effects.
was not expecting that in
Yeah.
this film, and when the light turned on behind it, I was kind of like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
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 See, that
Wait,
he used
wait.
that as his toy, made that demon up. The demon was cool.
Yeah.
demon-
Like I
really
was
cool.
already like, this shit's cool, and then when that happened, I was like, oh, shit's getting real.
Yeah. What about that weird text to speech motivational speaker segment
I know the
Right.
tape.
that happened before that?
The
It
tape.
happens throughout the whole film.
Yeah, it's
Well,
throughout the
yeah,
entire thing.
I know, but it's the
It
first time we
started
hear it was
before that.
before
Basically,
this montage
we're
thing.
shown a lot that Jack is a total loser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let
He's a
multiple ways.
35-year-old one of us. Jack, if you're
Let's
listening,
be
you're
honest.
on the podcast, bro.
If you have something on the motivational speech, say it after this origin story, because after the origin story is when he starts to get rid of his stuff and his belongings.
Yeah.
But anyways, he sees the demon in the hallway, and his mom brings him Benny, and she tells him, "Benny will always protect you, Jack." And he just like looks at Benny, and then he fades into like the current time. He hears the motivational speech talking in the background, basically saying he needs to get rid of his old attachments and move forward in life. And so he decides to get rid of all of his things, which is super weird seeing his room afterwards, because his room is like a skeleton. There's nothing in there except for the lamp.
Well, the Dexter painting and then the picture of NYC.
Texture pain.
Yeah, I love New York City.
I want you to know there was so much to write down in this movie that I could not write everything down. Like I could not write fast enough.
Because you were laughing so hard.
That's
too.
true.
I had
That's
to go
true. When the
back.
cops show up, I was just like dying.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
So
He's got the creams.
Benny gets packed up in one of those bins, and that's when we see the same smoke that was around Todd the bear in the beginning starts to come out of the bin where Benny is.
All I have to say is that was genius, because you don't know what the fuck that is,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's
but it's bringing them to life.
yeah, and you know what? It didn't need an explanation because we as the audience knew. Okay, I get it now. We saw the example
Yep.
earlier. This
Yep.
is just something that happens to toys that were loved and now they're getting rid of. It almost reminded me of like an evil Toy Story, like
Yeah.
if he's trying to get rid of Woody type thing.
And see, I was worried. I mean, I guess we'll just spoil this right now, but I was worried that the demon was going to come into play with that down the road, and I'm so
Right.
happy that it didn't, and
Yeah,
that it just naturally happens.
Yeah, it was perfect because, like you said, the demon served its purpose as this was just something he saw and he just imagined it, and now we know that Benny is there to protect him. Which
Yeah, and it was just the AIDS that came into play.
and it just adds to the
Jesus
story even
Christ.
more of Benny. Like
Yes.
So
But there's obviously something going on if all of these toys are getting possessed.
Yeah, that's why I don't have any. I threw them all out. Nora's gonna come home and be like, "What the hell happened to all my toys? They're all in the fucking trash."
When Benny comes to life, Jack hears a sound and he like wakes up and he like runs downstairs, but he's armed with a lightsaber. Oh no,
Awesome.
sorry. So he turns on his light in his room and Benny cuts the power because then that's why he grabs the lightsaber. And when he gets downstairs, he starts to follow a trail of cotton like clumps. And he gets to
No, he sees all the other toys that he had put down there. He doesn't see the cotton lumps till towards the end.
He's already gone down there and seen. Wasn't Benny sitting there, and he saw him sitting there, and then he disappeared?
I don't think
he goes
sees
in and
Benny
he
until
sees
the
like
end.
he sees all the cars, and then he sees the Babadook, and then he sees like other things, and then he eventually sees the straw or the fluff from him, and then that's when he goes to the other part of the house that was cut off from his parents' crime scene, and then that's when he sees the real shit.
Yeah, so that's
Cheeky!
he's following the cotton clumps, and that's where he sees all of his plush toys have been like ripped apart, like someone has murdered them, and they're all like where all their cuts and stuff are. There's spaghetti like coming out of the cuts and stuff.
Fucking genius.
Yeah, why are all the
But
dolls
then-
filled with spaghetti?
Then comes the amazing. It's not 911 when you call the cops there. It's 999. Someone has murdered all my teddies.
I need protection.
Yeah, he goes thanks for it.
I need
Dude,
protection.
I was dying during that part.
They're even like, oh, well, maybe it was a friend or somebody you know, like a girlfriend or something.
Yeah,
He's like, I literally
they-
don't
They
have
go
any
through a
friends.
whole list.
Yeah.
Well, he said you could hear it. They said it's usually someone you know, and right away it's Benny.
Yeah.
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 It's Benny. And then, like Bub was saying, I don't have any friends, and he goes, I'm kind of a loner. And he goes, the cop says, oh, okay, complete loser. And he goes, no, loner.
And then he goes on to say, "You got biscuits
Yeah.
You got biscuits?
for my tea."
Or something that was
Cream.
These cops were great, by the way. Shout out to the cops. They pop
Yeah.
up throughout the movie, and I think that those were my two favorite characters.
They are ridiculous.
The
I
constable.
can't.
Yeah.
Hi, baby.
So now Jack is back to work, and we're introduced to Dawn. Not a whole lot to really say here. Just we're introduced to her. You can tell she's going to be an important character.
Oh, she's into him right away.
Yeah, his boss tries to give him a hard time, and she kind of defends him a little bit, and
Because he got demoted.
yeah, because he got demoted.
So he's on a new team.
But there was one blooper as he's getting ready to go to the office, and they show him shaving. He shaves, and by the time he gets to the office, he's got his full beard back again. So the shaving didn't help.
He's like the Santa Claus.
Claus.
Yeah, he had his full beard back.
Like an elephant.
So
That's
the next sequence we get is borderline terrifying because once again Jack hears noises. He wakes up, goes downstairs, but his door is open to the backyard, and he goes out there and he's looking around, and in the sheet moving in the wind, you see Benny behind the sheet when the wind blows, but then when it goes back, he's gone. And it was
Yep.
like a terrifying sequence.
No, you skipped something before that. The whole scene with David being killed is before that.
No, it's after. Because he wakes up next to the head in his bed.
Really?
Yeah.
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 He climbs into bed.
Yep.
David.
He wakes up to the account manager's head next to him in his bed. This is where Jack finds out Benny is alive. is
But it's
right
so
now.
funny because he was like petting the guy's head. and
Yeah,
everything.
he was like cuddling with the guy's head, and then he like flips out, and that's when there's like, I think in blood on the wall in a heart it says "Benny loves you,"
Mhm.
and his body is in the chair down by the kitchen with like
And
his.
he made breakfast
He made breakfast with just spaghetti, right?
on a piece of bread.
Yeah, and the David's intestines are out, and that's when never fails the cops show up. So Jack panics and like puts David's head in the cabinet, and then there's a little like hutch thing next to his kitchen table that he puts his body in. He hangs up his Dexter painting, the one that Martin brought up before, over the bloody wall, and
And he adds blood around it.
adds blood around it.
Dude, fucking genius. Fucking puts the freaking rug over the blood
rug
on
over
the
the
floor.
floor. You know what though? I have to say I appreciated that it only took a couple seconds to show this stuff, and we saw him clean up everything.
Yeah.
And it only took a couple seconds. So we literally saw how believable it was that he was able to do this.
Yeah.
This is where Amber fell asleep.
When the cops were there,
When the cops were there. Yes, I could.
Oh,
I was
that
laughing
great.
so hard during this sequence.
part was great.
I didn't fall asleep for very long. I just dozed off and then I woke up again.
She was out.
You probably woke up and they're like, custard creams.
I saw all of that.
So they're there trying to, and they're like banging on the door now at this point. They're like, what's he doing? What's he hiding and everything? So then he finally gets over there and lets him in. And I don't have a lot of notes on this scene. Is there anything you guys want to touch on before I
I don't think there was much going on.
the only part that was like a close call was the guy tries to grab one of the biscuits for his tea, and he opens up the cabinet where the guy's head is, and Jack slams it and is like, "No biscuits."
No.
It was so the cops were there because they needed their camera.
Then you
That's
know
important.
that's
That's
right.
right.
Yes,
Right.
I didn't have that
Very
written down.
important.
And he had to clean
But
the
yeah,
blood off
I
the
love
camera.
when they look at the painting and they're like, oh well, that's new. I love it.
Yeah. The guy's like, I like it. Yeah, I like it.
It comes off the canvas and onto the wall.
But he did do a great job with the sponge thing around the painting. It looked good.
It was once again. Please watch this movie. It was really, really funny. So then after the cops like leave, Benny, that's when his catchphrase, "Benny loves you," like he just you find out right now that Benny is obsessed with Jack and will do anything to protect Jack because he knew that David was trying to take his house away.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he killed David.
Okie dokie.
Yes, say okie dokie.
I think after he I could be wrong, but I thought after he killed him and he sees him for the first time, he goes, "Ta-da!"
Yeah.
He does. Yes. Yes.
Did
we make a note here that he took a picture of himself? Benny did. Took a picture with the dead guy, and the picture has a heart in it, and then he brings Jack a beer.
But doesn't that
He stabbed the final notice into the dead body, and then he took a Polaroid of it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
that's
he
what it
goes,
was. I thought for some reason I thought it was a heart shape.
No. And
Slammed
then,
and put the knife right in his chest.
Yeah,
And he
then
brought him
Jack
a beer.
Goes, Man, I really need a beer, and then he brings him.
Oh my
he goes,
god, when he
"Okie
brings the
dokie."
beer, he's like dancing around, and most of the
Yep.
beer's gone by the time it even gets to
Yeah.
the table.
Yeah.
So now this is where Jack starts to clean up the account manager's body, and he ends up burying the account manager in the backyard. He's got massive property, by the way. He lives out like on like a giant like field, so he has lots of space. So this after he buries the body, this is where Jack comes up with he uses Benny to create his new line of horror action figures.
Scare Bears.
Scare Bears, yes.
Bear, bear.
Awesome.
Yeah, it actually was. I was sitting here going, those are pretty cool. Yeah, he starts putting together all this artwork and stuff, and
Taking pictures.
taking pictures, and that's when we get there's a whole montage of Jack bonding with Benny and Jack bonding with Dawn. And
Benny watching scary movies and being scared.
yeah.
Yeah, that plays a key role
Hilarious.
too.
So hilarious.
So Jack is voluntold by his boss that he gets to watch his dog. And
Precious.
Because
Precious.
Richard couldn't do it.
Yeah, and this is happening the same night that Dawn has invited herself over for dinner. So Jack is kind of in a little bit of a predicament here.
The
You
real
know, Jack
estate
is a
agent.
gourmet cook.
So this is why Jack is at work. That's when the realtor shows up to Jack's house to show the woman who was Jack's date earlier in the film that was horrified.
I just call her babes.
Yeah, because that's how she called everybody was babes.
Ew.
She's there to look at the house to purchase it. And that's Benny jams the for sale sign like post. He impales the realtor with it, but the post says instead of
Not for
sale,
sale.
he's changed it to not for
Not
sale.
for sale. Exactly.
And Benny tries to kill Babes, but she like is running away, and it's kind of like this like Scooby-Doo thing of them running through the house, and eventually she ends up in the attic. She uses the ladder to get in the attic, and the ladder falls down, and then Benny can't get to her, but now she's stuck in the attic.
And that's when Benny was sliding the axe across the hardwood floors, and it was causing sparks.
No, that's not there. That's with the dog.
Yeah, that's way later.
I got it. It's in line. Okay, more entertainment.
Literally, the next note I have is Benny placed in box so Jack can get laid.
Yeah. Jack is upset with Benny, and he puts him in the bin in the basement so he can prepare for his date with Dawn. What ends up happening at that point is Benny ends up escaping from the bin that he got put in the basement, and
Can we talk about how smart he was?
Dude.
With what he did, he put the magazine under the door,
yes,
and he put the thing through the key, and it punched out the key. It landed on the magazine, and he pulled it through underneath the door.
yep.
This is like next level
smart
like
ass.
serial killer.
But I liked that because it showed, like, because you think that he's just like this unintelligent like thing, but this is showing that he's actually pretty smart. Like,
Yeah, damn smart.
So right when Benny is escaping, that's when Jack's boss happens to drop off his dog,
Precious.
Precious.
Do it, Jack. Fresh.
So that's when Dad's note pops into play about you see Benny walking, dragging the axe, and there's sparks and stuff coming off of the hardwood floor, which I don't think it would do that.
No.
And then you see the dog runs away from Benny, and Benny throws the axe,
Precious.
and it looks like it could miss, but no, the axe just boom pins the dog to the wall.
It was so funny.
That's when this is happening, Dawn is kind of like venting to Jack a little bit, telling she had a similar story about a doll she had,
Yeah.
named I think it's Amy. I don't have it here,
Amy.
but I have it later in my
Yep.
notes. I think it's Amy.
Maybe.
And she believes that Amy was responsible for the death of her father. So,
Because he slipped on it at the top of the stairs.
yes.
And then she never seen Amy again.
Mhm.
Because he hid it for her 10th birthday because she thought she was too old to have a doll at
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
Little breakdown.
So,
Well, while she's trying to tell the sob story, Jack's too busy seeing Benny, with Precious on the leash, dragging it behind.
yeah. And as soon as she finishes telling the story, Jack's gone. Like she's by herself on the couch.
Right.
And
Throws the dog in the dryer.
Oh,
Jack,
the whole thing with
again, we
Trent
get to
Precious
see,
was freaking hilarious.
we get to
Oh
see
my
how
God.
well Jack cleans up.
So it's at this point that Benny is trying to kill Dawn, and that's when Jack tells her so that Benny can hear that he does not like her.
Right.
And when he says that, Benny backs off. And then comes this comedy of errors because she thinks that Jack is sick and takes him to his room and lays him down, and he goes, I'll be right back. And he goes downstairs and he's on the phone. He's on the phone trying to find a replacement dog.
You got any fat ones?
Or it looks like it ran its face in the back of a car.
Yeah. But Benny grabs the. I didn't understand his logic, but Benny grabs the dog and takes it to Dawn, and right when he's walking in there with the dog, Jack jumps on the dog and acts like the dog is going to attack Dawn.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Starts stabbing the dog and throws it out the window, which it lands on his boss's car with his entire family in the car.
His logic is the dog was already dead. How are you going to explain that? You got to tell her about Benny, or you're going to look like a psycho. So why not be like, oh, it's attacking you. I killed it. I saved your life.
Yeah.
And it was
Which
perfect.
still,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So after this, Jack obviously gets fired from his job.
Yeah.
After he gets fired, he's on his way home and he's deciding he's going to kill Benny.
No, the police show up at his job.
Oh, that's right. I didn't write any of that down. They found the
They show
pictures,
the
right?
follow of
They
the
found the
pictures
picture.
that
Yeah.
were found on the
Polaroid.
camera.
Okay.
They're like,
I don't have any of this down.
This?
He's coming down the stairs and they're standing there.
Yeah,
They're showing the ones where it's the dog's body, like posing.
yeah. They're like, how can you explain this?
And what's his explanation?
Nothing. All of a sudden, it shows him running into his house, shutting the door.
Yeah,
So he
And
doesn't
then
say
there's
anything. He just
and a birthday party waiting for him.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to go kill Benny, and that's when but Benny has made him a cake to celebrate his birthday. And that's when he just tells Benny that he wants him to go back to normal because, you know, everything that's happened with his boss, you know, his boss demoted him and
Now he's fired.
he's fired. Yeah, he goes down the whole rabbit hole about how his boss is pissed off at him.
Benny loves you.
So then he goes to sleep. When he wakes up, he goes downstairs because he hears Benny downstairs.
Because Benny pulled the comforter off of him.
Yeah. And
Okie dokie.
he goes downstairs, and that's when he sees a giant present in his living room waiting for him. He unwraps the present to reveal his boss.
Ron.
And that's when he takes a picture of him because his boss is tied up wearing like a bow on his head.
Oh.
There's a bunny, like bunny ears or something.
Yeah, and he comes up with a great plan. He's going to blackmail his boss unless his boss gives him, the promotion. And
Right.
And so he goes for it. He's like, you know what? That I think we can make this happen. And right when he agrees to it, Benny kills his boss. Side note, the entire time Jack is talking to him, Benny keeps coming over with different weapons to kill his boss with. And Jack keeps shooing him off. No, I got this. So that is officially, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, the final nail in the coffin. Because Jack then puts Benny in a coffin that he made for one of the Scare Bear toys. And he buries Benny in the backyard. I don't know if this is in the evening or the next day, but Don shows up to Jack's.
It's in the morning. He'd been cleaning all night.
Okay.
And still in his PJs.
He's still in his PJs. He's got blood.
And his freaking hat still on.
Yeah.
But didn't the cake say, "Happy birthday, you're a winner"? Instead of him being a loser the whole time, it says you're a winner.
You're a winner. Oh, Benny.
So when Don
I'm gonna have to
shows
pull
up,
him out of the trash.
Benny escapes and he goes through this like sad montage of it's raining too, I'm pretty sure. And
Yeah.
Benny's at like the park and like it just shows all these sad things. He's looking at like store windows and stuff, and it shows Jack and Don bonding a little bit more, and then it also shows that the girl is still stuck in the basement or in the attic.
Attic.
Sorry, attic. So at this point, Benny. Okay, so Dawn leaves because I think. Does Jack tell her
She's
the story?
going to work.
But does
She's going
Jack
to
tell her
work.
the story and she leaves?
No.
No. So she's just going to work, and Benny in I think he's in his ninja gear.
Yeah.
Goes.
But like puts all the writings on the walls. As
Yeah,
she's
he's just
leaving.
wearing
Yeah.
the ski mask.
Oh,
She
ski
doesn't
mask.
see. He's wearing the underwear from that model in the window.
I didn't even catch that.
Yes.
Once again, just watch this movie. It's so funny. He's on the top of the car and there's this pretty funny scene where she's just driving and he looks down in the window and she doesn't even notice him.
Right.
And how does he end up inside though? Because she takes him inside.
He
No,
walks in.
he follows in behind her, and then he just lays down, and
And she sees
then Ricard brings him into the break room area.
Oh,
And ask- How did you get him to give you the prototype?
Gotcha. And that's when so when she's driving, Jack wakes up and he sees the writing on the wall, like Chris pointed out, and
Run.
he's trying to get dressed and get over there so he can help her. Like you guys pointed out, Richard finds him at work, and he's sitting there waiting for Dawn to come in. And when she comes in, he's like, "How did you, get this and everything?" And when they're sitting there talking, Jack comes running in to stop Benny, and Richard sits there and makes fun of him. And that's when Jack says, "I love you, Richard, more than anything."
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh, thanks, man." And that's when Benny stabs Richard through his hand.
Mhm.
Everybody in his work, the toy box starts flipping out.
He
So-
fucking locks them all in the room.
I know. I thought about
I
that.
thought of that
Fucked up.
too.
But then Dawn's in there and he's telling her, "Well, I hate you," and she's like looking at him like, "What the heck are you talking about?" And then as she's telling everybody else that he likes him, and so Betty starts killing everybody in the room.
Yeah. So Richard, Dawn, and Jack escape, and like Martin pointed out, and I even wrote this on my notes. Jack locks everybody in there with Benny.
So fucked up.
Yeah, so Benny kills everyone in the office, and once everybody's dead, Benny does the ta-da. Next we're treated to it's like Jack does Home Alone. He like starts to booby trap his house just like Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone.
Yeah, he's got his home defense for losers book.
Yeah.
They
And
got some water pistols.
Is
in
that
my
what it
car.
said?
And
Well,
he's-
because they don't have a for dummies, so he's got the cheap off-brand versions, which is for losers.
and
That's funny.
and they're doing they're trying to modify Disco AIDS robot to get him ready for action. And meanwhile, while this is happening, this is where Benny gets a ninja outfit with swords
He
and
goes to the fucking mall.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got Raphael's size.
Yeah. And so Jack tells Dawn like to just stay here. He's got to, take care of this and puts her in a room. And that's when Dawn sees a gift from Jack.
No, come on, dude. You got to mention the slap.
Yeah, that was
Slaps
great.
the shit out of her.
Yeah, that's right. He does.
You think it's gonna be this sweet sentimental moment, and he fucking smacks the
Yeah.
shit out of her. I did not see that coming.
No,
Watch the movie.
yes, please watch this movie. That's when Dawn sees a gift from Jack, and when she opens it, it's her doll Amy that she was talking about earlier in the movie.
Come
And
full circle.
Amy comes to life.
Mhm.
Benny shows up in the house.
Hold on. Did you any of you catch when fucking Jack asks Richard what would ask yourself what Prince would do?
Oh, yeah, Richard is a huge Prince fan. We didn't even touch on that at all.
Yeah, we never
But
touched
yeah,
on
go,
Oh, that's right.
Go ahead. What does he say?
Can he shit himself?
Yo,
That's gotta be the shirt, dude.
the Prince symbol with poop coming out of it.
Dude, I
Um,
was dying. I had to pause the movie because I was laughing so hard.
So now Benny's inside, and that's when Benny comes face to face with Disco AIDS robot, and they have a mini battle.
Epic battle.
Yeah, Benny ends up. I think that's Benny ends up killing the AIDS robot, and then while that's happening, Richard's robot, the badass one, comes to life.
Saying purple rain, purple rain.
Purple rain. This death was pretty impressive. It
Mhm.
stabbed him in the stomach, and then took a vacuum cleaner and jammed the nozzle in his stomach,
Oh,
and
that was-
he turned it
In
on,
his
and it, like,
intestine.
it like sucked out all of his insides,
Mhm.
and so now, we get like this like battle where it's like Don's fighting Amy, Richard's was fighting his robot, and
Purple rain.
and Dawn ends up stabbing Amy, but I don't think it does anything, right? Because I think that like that they fight for a while. I feel like.
Yeah, Amy cuts her Achilles,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then they go downstairs,
Okay,
and then
yeah.
That's when she gets the knife from her, and then she says how she's not a kid anymore, and she chases her upstairs.
Gotcha. And
It's like Pet Cemetery all over again.
Yeah.
so Richard's robot tries to kill Jack. And then Benny shows up and protects Jack. And then Richard's robot is about to kill Benny. And then Jack ends up saving Benny with one of his booby traps.
The board with the nails in it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then
The cops show up.
Because Benny had a sword on him and was gonna kill Jack, and then that's when the robot came up, and then Benny basically told him like, no,
yeah.
That's when all that happened.
And then Benny he gets Dawn hostage. And that's when the cops show up and they have pellet guns.
No, we don't need to call for backup. We got these.
We got these pellet guns.
Great.
Down an adult at
Genius.
10 feet.
Jack tells Benny to cuddle him one last time because he will probably be going to jail. And then it looks like Jack is about to kill him, but Benny jumps out the window.
No,
Dawn
that's when
pushes him.
Dawn fucks the whole thing up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Dawn throws him out the window, right?
No, she tries
just-
to grab him and
Yeah,
save.
Throws him in the corner, and then he pops
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
And then he's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna save both of you," and jumps out. the window.
Because he runs at her with a knife and does like a flip,
And
and you
then-
think he's
yeah.
gonna like kill her, but he goes
he
out
goes
the
out
window.
Yeah. Okay.
He was like a mini Deadpool in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, we want Benny Pool.
But dude, the cop shooting the gun was great.
Oh,
Yeah, it was amazing.
God damn, dude.
Air.
It was
Benny,
genius.
Benny jumps out the window. He charges the cops, but they shoot him with their pellet guns. Jack runs out, and he gets shot with the pellet guns and falls.
He goes right down, too. He's like, boom. He
Yeah.
goes right.
Dude.
And he's laying next to Benny, and he's holding Benny's hand.
When the cop calls for the fucking ambulance, he goes, "We got a 40-year-old white female," and he goes, "I'm 36."
And you hear Benny's voice box going out when he's laying next to Jack. You hear Benny loves you.
No.
And then we
Took
see
the fatal shot from the other guy.
yeah.
Remember, the other guy was unloading his thing, and all of a sudden the other guy shot him right through the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we go to 2 months later, and this I was sitting there going, well, like I had all these questions, and they literally answered them all, and I thought it was so funny. He's packing up the last of his house. They've sold everything. Him and Dawn are they're moving on, and when they drive off, you see Benny in the back of the car still. So they're taking Benny with them. But then you hear the cops' conversation, which is amazing, and they answer all the questions that you have. They literally
Tell anybody about this conversation, they gotta watch the movie.
Yeah, the cops they pin everything on Richard.
Can't believe they bought it.
Yeah. And then they said,
Genius.
yeah. And then he's sitting there and he goes, I just don't feel right. And he goes, oh, yeah? You're going to tell him the truth? I'll be sitting behind you going,
Crazy person.
yeah. Like, it was truly amazing. And then we see the end of the movie. And there's like a voiceover. You see like toys out next to like a dumpster and stuff. And the voiceover says, we've all got that one special bear, someone we've cherished for years, someone that once meant the world to us. Maybe he's tattered from years of gathering dust. Maybe you found something else to play with. But whatever you do, under any circumstances, don't throw him out. Or the next time you curl up to sleep, he might just come back for a cuddle.
And so then the movie ends. And what was the one question that everybody had?
Where was she?
Where's the girl from the attic?
Yeah.
What happened to the girl in the attic?
Well, before
Where's
that,
Babes?
you see Todd the bear show up in Richard's robot,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then
And then
it
he's-
goes to the credits. After the
Well,
credits,
you see the trash can light up.
Yeah.
Like somebody's getting possessed.
hmm And then, like Dad said, the after the credit scene is you see the skeleton of the woman in the attic. She, I guess, never said anything and just died.
Yeah, she never left after 2
It
months.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, it was she had her
Turned to
clothes on. They had a good skeleton up there. And there was flies all over. It was nasty.
Like
Yeah.
she was in a bag though, which was weird.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, that was Benny Loves You, and it was, well, let's go see what other people thought of this movie. Okay.
I love you, you make the world so bright.
So guys, I want you to know, I'm going to start with the 5-star reviews, okay? This is by Jay West. Benny Loves You. Ta-da! Wee!
5 stars.
I am absolutely
That's it.
hooked
That's it.
on Benny Loves You. The first time I rented it, so I had to buy it on Blu-ray and some special features too. I guess I feel bad for Jack, what he's going through. Jack lost his parents. Jack wants his promotion. Jack was about to lose his home. Jack was about to lose his job, and his boss and Richard is a first-class jerk. But slowly having a girlfriend, I was hoping that Benny wouldn't murder Jack's girlfriend. Love it when Benny says, "Benny loves you." Cuddle Benny. Play with Benny. Ta-da! And wee! Etc. This is definitely my kind of British horror film about a doll named Benny. Highly recommended. 5 stars. This is from Amazon customer. Cheesy, bloody, perfect. I saw a preview of this movie before it released and had to pre-order it. If you like off-the-wall horror comedy like the Banana Splits movie, you need to check this movie out.
Garbage.
Benny
That's
Loves
what
You.
we did.
Benny Loves You is a movie about a man-child that finally has no choice but to grow up. In doing so, he throws away his favorite childhood toy, Benny. And Benny doesn't take too kindly to this. The concept of the movie itself is just silly, and that's what makes it great. Small details are in this you may not realize at first. My favorite is how Benny moves. It's as if a child is making him bounce as he walks, making you wonder if Benny is really alive or if it's all in his owner's head. This is a movie that I feel will fly under far too many people's cinematic radar, but if you like insane and hilarious slapstick cinema, this movie is definitely worth picking up. 5 stars.
There you go. I will say that it said that Benny was broken up between scenes where he was CGI and scenes where he was a puppet.
I want you
I
guys
couldn't tell because I was laughing too hard.
I want you guys to know this. There was only one 1-star review.
Only
I
one?
could believe that.
Only
It was
one.
But I did like the
No.
fact that in the last review, the guy did bring up about how Benny moved. The way that he hopped around, it was pretty cool and it was really consistent.
Yeah.
This is by Terry G. This is the title of her rant. Awful movie. Terrible movie. 1 star.
That's it?
That's it?
That's it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say this because of that 1-star review. I did a little bit more digging so that I could get us a couple. There's a couple 2-star reviews that I grabbed, just then that way we had a little something.
No, dude, don't do it.
Yeah, just move on.
You're setting a
Good.
precedent. Don't do it.
All right, okay, all right. Then I won't do it. I won't do it. All right, guys. Well then, Amber, we will start with you since this is your movie. How many stars are you gonna give this movie?
I think I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars.
Okay, that's
That's
it.
what I'm going with.
No reason or logic.
Uh,
Just
whatever.
sitting there in the middle.
I thought I was highly impressed with the quality of this movie, and yeah, it was a little quirky, but you could tell the love that went into making this movie. I mean, it was definitely a passion project. Don't fucking laugh at me.
A lot of love in this film. A lot of love.
Okay.
Penny
Well,
loves
Penny loves
finding
you.
out that literally everything was done by one person and how well it turned out.
Yeah, Oz did a great job.
Good job, Oz.
Bub.
I'm gonna give it 5 out of 5. This movie was awesome. It was perfect for an indie B horror movie. The dry comedy from being a British horror comedy, like oh my gosh, like the jokes and everything were so dry. I freaking love it. Some of the CGI for the blood and stuff was kind of like meh, but you're laughing the whole time, so you don't really care.
Yeah.
All in all, I loved the story. I thought it was great. Even the fact that he started to like partner up with Benny, and it was like, all right, but no more killing people. And that's when they went
Yeah.
on their roll about we're gonna do the scare bears and taking photos like he's having fun with them. Then he killed a cat, and he's still just like, oh, Benny. Like, oh, dude, it was great. I loved it.
Dad.
I'm gonna agree with that. I'm gonna give it 5 stars. The constables alone are worth 5 stars.
The constable.
Those guys are so funny, and the story itself, the way that the just British humor alone, it was just, it's like Chris mentioned earlier about the funeral thing. It was absolutely hilarious. I didn't really take that many notes because I was just really focused on the movie itself, and it was it was hilarious. But the cops were my favorite part. Those guys were nuts. They were great.
Martin.
5 out of 5. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I could relate to it. Like almost a lot of the scenes you could like put it with something else, like what they were going for, like with the humor and everything. And it was just like the whole scene at the end with the guns and stuff was like the Matrix and shit. I was dying. And like just like comparing it to the only other funny British movie I've watched recently was Death at a Funeral, and then they tried to Americanize it and they ruined it. So it's just
So I am going to give it 5 stars because this movie was amazing from start to finish. Like right away, they don't like by the trailer, it does not seem like what you get because the trailer makes it look like it's going to be a little bit more scary. When this started and the first funny thing that happens is the mother Googling, is it illegal to smack my kid? I go, oh, this is what we're in for. Like, this is going to be a funny movie. And it did not disappoint. The cops alone, I agree with Dad. They alone make this movie worth 5 stars because they were fantastic. I want a spin-off of the cops, like a cop show with those two guys. That's what I want.
Like what they did with What We Do in the Shadows. They took the cops from that,
Wellington
and they got a
Paranormal.
spin-off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about if we if they made this movie with a higher budget? Do you think it would help it out?
no.
No.
Leave it.
I agree 100%.
The only thing I thought is that if Ricky Gervais played Jack,
Oh shit.
Which, by the way,
that would be
literally while we were talking, I just looked. Carl Holt, the director, producer, everybody is Jack and Benny.
No shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
swear to
fun
God.
fact.
So he played
Yeah.
Jack?
I just saw that right now. He plays Jack and Benny.
And he did the directing, editing,
The writing, the directing, editing. Fuck, what else?
Oh,
He
good.
did
Wow.
everything.
That's
Yeah.
Right.
that's a fun
Directing,
fact.
writing, produced, edited, cinematography, and the musical score.
That
That's
guy's a
100% indie.
Yeah.
Get that motherfucker on here.
Yeah, try and get him on the show.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we all agree the charm of this movie came from it being an indie film. I think if
Don't
it,
mess with the perfection.
no, if it got blown up, I feel like they would probably try and go down the Child's Play route and make it more scary instead of capitalize on this being a comedy.
Yep.
Unless
Yeah.
it was Ricky Gervais.
I actually think Ricky Gervais would have been great as the boss.
Yeah,
That's
that would have been good.
that's the only thing I think he would have been good at.
I think if they change anything, it'll ruin it.
I agree with that. Okay, guys. So get ready because we're gonna go back for our next pick. We're gonna be turning the dial on the color scheme a little bit back to black and white,
Ooh.
and we are gonna go all the way to the South Seas Island because we're gonna see From Hell It Came.
Nice.
Beware
Oh,
Tabonga.
yeah.
On a remote South Seas island, no one is safe from this hideous and unique monster. Tabonga is a part man, part tree, all doom. Formerly
All
an
doom.
island prince, he was unjustly put to death by a witch doctor. Now he's returned to life with roots, branches, and a vengeance. Against natives, against visiting American scientists who investigate the tree's radioactive green sap,
Jesus Christ.
against anyone unwise enough to expect a tree to stay put. A macabre medley of creature feature, Polynesian kitsch, and atomic age cautionary tale. From Hell It Came is the killer tree movie you wouldn't, spelled WOOD, want to miss.
That's right.
It is available for free on Amazon Prime.
Right on.
So, yes, guys, thank you so much for sticking around on this episode and helping us battle evil, guys. This is one that you need to watch. Benny Loves You. Please check that out. Watch From Hell It Came so you can join us next week on our battle against evil. If you guys want to check us out if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe. Hit that little bell so you can get notified as soon as these things post.
Yeah, Nerdz versus Evil, love you.
Yeah, and then on the podcast, if you leave us a 5-star review, we will read it. We have a new 5-star review to read, guys.
No shit.
This is actually pretty funny. 5 stars. I really have enjoyed this podcast. I had my reservations at first, but the more I listened, the better it got. Great work, everyone, and keep it up. Shaka Khan, man.
I had my reservations at first.
So,
Sorry.
guys, if you're listening on podcast form, give us 5 stars. Leave a little review. We'll read it live on here. If you guys want, we are very active on the Twitter. You can message us on there. We'll read any messages that get sent on the podcast. If you guys have any suggestions, throw them our way. And same with the TikTok. Those are both at Nerdz versus Evil. If you guys want to support the show, check out Redbubble. We got hats and shirts. Boop.
Black and white.
Yeah. And if you can't get enough of Amber and I, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel where we rate and review theme parks, Fast Pass with us. If you need to get your Nerdz versus Evil mug, you can check out igbcollectibleballs.com. We're waiting for that so we can all have our mug beverage while we're doing the podcast.
After next week.
Okay. All right. You'll see him next week. And then special shout out to my brother. He had a big announcement. Higby Horror Hunt is going to be at the Modesto Nuts Stadium this year.
Nice.
Very
John,
exciting
pretty
news.
awesome. In Modesto.
So, guys, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next week when we take on From Hell It Came. Thanks for joining us in our battle against evil.
Thank you.
Woo!